Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Oh boy, I was up a lot last night. We had storms last night. Not a lot of rain, but a lot of wind and sandstorms. And one of the dogs was so scared, kept me up most of the night. Good morning, Patrick. So, if I'm a little tired today, that's what's going on. Also, I'll be on Trade here this afternoon with Bob and Jim. Also, I recorded the Futures Edge with them yesterday. And then on Thursday, I'm on Ninja Trader, so it's a busy week. Good morning, Sterling. Plus this. You're thanking Kamala for choosing Waltz. Well, there you go. Good morning, Jacob. Japan, yeah, they were blabbing. They were blabbing. You know, Japan's central bank makes ours look competent. They really do. I mean, if there was ever a case for banning all central banks, it would be Japan, just hands down. But I think all central banks should be banned. Oh, but they're not good. They're just price stability, volatility. They're going to be very cautious when they hike. You know what? The market's now going to call them out. That's going to end spectacularly poorly, but it might help get at least a bounce going for a little bit. They weren't going to hike again anyways. Now, if they come out with a surprise cut, if they go back to zero, that'll really get interesting. So we shall see what they do. Can we just have markets that we don't need constant intervention? You know, what about all the clowns on Monday that were calling for the emergency 50 and 75 basis point cut? Like, okay, all right, did we blow up? Have we gone into fiscal oblivion because we didn't get that? We're just in a market completely dependent on central banks and central planning and everything else, and that's never a good thing. But we'll see how it all ends. Probably not well. Hey, Christoph, thank you for tuning in. What was this one? Yeah, Kurt Top Crimson Dips Nomura. We will closely monitor financial markets with a sense of urgency as well as with calmness. The urgent calmness. Be urgently calm. Calmly urgent. We're gonna monitor everything. Don't worry, we've got your back. Oh boy. Good morning, John. Oh yeah, we're back to 3.94. The overreaction that we were going to oblivion. Uh what else do we have? Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Ted. Oh boy, Intel should just focus on its own stuff. You all right? Intel needs to focus on its own house. What are they laying out? 15,000 people. The Intel's now without the dividend. There's no point to even touch Intel until it really flushes out. Hey, good morning, Optimus 22. Haven't seen you in forever. Hope all is well with you. We had Disney come out. This morning with their earnings. You had Spotify, you had CVS, with CVS missing on revenue. Good morning, Martinez. All right. Yes, we are living in interesting times. Feels like a bit 2007 right now before the cascade down, morning meltdown. Now as commercial real estate is 7 times larger. You know, and I'm expecting another significant leg down. We just have to get, you know, it wasn't going to all happen if everybody piled in calling for 50 basis point rate cuts. Something else will blow. Something else will blow, but we're getting volatility come back down. Now everybody's back to buying the dip. So it's going to get interesting. Good morning, McRangers. Coco's calm week before next week's storm. So is it just buy the calm week and buy the Bank of Japan? I'm going to try and tell people to be urgently calm as many times as possible. Yes. I agree with you, McRangers. I agree. Whenever I'm going to run an errand, I'm going to say, you know what? It's a wonderful day. Please be urgently calm. But I'm not going to be calm when I tell them. Are you going to tell them urgently, though? Oh, yeah, they probably are, Sterling. This is, you know what? Try to save your company. Mention AI. Is that what we're in now, too? Do how about we just have a high performing company and that's why your stock price goes up, and if you have a low performing company it goes down. Okay, but it's, oh, if we mention AI more, I agree with you, Sterling. Buy the stock, we're mentioning AI. What happens when all this AI overinvestment in AI turns into an anchor and then everybody's trying to backpedal? You watch. You watch. All right. Grand Rising, Christoph. So, what do we have? We have the mortgage rates all the way down to 6.55. Agents all over the place. This real estate's now going up 10 to 20%. It's already unaffordable. It's going up 10 to 20%, not more. Why? Because because you can save a couple little bit on your new mortgage. Boy, we need a good old reset in a bunch of things. It is a very calm week. It is a very calm day. You got crude numbers out today. Crude triggered a little mini double bottom bounce, potentially. Nothing guaranteed, but it is triggered. Really calm day today. Then tomorrow, we got jobless claims. And look at Friday. You just got rig counts. Now, next week, we got the PPI and we got the CPI. So, Coco is correct. Coco is correct. This is the calm week before next week. All right, we have green except for Lily. Lily reports tomorrow, but it's buy AI, buy mega caps, buy oil. It's buy. Was that a song? Buy. Who? I'm not good with that kind of poppy band stuff, but I remember that being a something in a song. I don't know. Please remind me. You know what? If we go with 60s and 70s and even some 80s music, I'm good. Grunge 90s I can do, but I can't do pop bands. Everything. It's buy. Technology, financial, energy, comm services, everything's leading the charge higher. The calm buying everything. I guess we don't need those emergency rate cuts after all. FedWatch still has 50 basis point cut in September. Only a 34% chance of a single cut. And no percent chance of a pause. None. Fear and greed, in extreme fear, but we could be bouncing out of that today. Why do you keep popping up? I don't want to see my pop-ups. Schiller PE ratio, 30. The markets are all of a sudden cheap again, by the way. Cheap markets. All right. There's not much to talk about with earnings. I think Shopify was a big gap up this morning. Probably because, its earnings are so strong. After the close, we got Robinhood. Tomorrow, your big one's Lilly. You got a lot of companies reporting, but nothing market moving. Nothing that's really going to rock the markets. Next market rocker could be NVIDIA. Which, when are their earnings? NVIDIA is not until Wednesday, August 28th. So we have a bit of time. Mike is a huge fan of that. Was it a Backstreet Boys song? But there it is. The Backstreet. Yeah, you. Oh, oh boy, the Backstreet Boys. Uh, I have honestly never intentionally listened to the Backstreet Boys. I've obviously heard some songs, maybe just one. I could not tell you. Besides, I probably heard it on Peloton. I probably heard it on riding the Peloton. I was on some ride and they played. I know they've played Backstreet Boys. So thank you. Oh boy, see. I can't tell you. Oh boy, this is fun. Good morning, Heinrich. AI is the future. AI's got a. I'm not saying there won't be future in AI. AI will be good at some things. However, it's not good as a general, and they haven't figured out a great way to monetize it. So, I'm not saying it's going away, just like the internet with the .com boom or everything. Remember, again, I got the sock puppet, pets.com, with absurd valuations. Every company is going to infinity and beyond because it's on the internet. It's got a website, infinity and beyond. Now, the internet did not go away. Internet's still here, but things were overhyped. Okay, for some things, AI, like I think AI with coding is going to be amazing. I think it's going to change the way things are coded completely. And are more of a rapid cycle again of software development. However, is it going to replace everything overnight? No. And there's been no way for spending at 40 grand a pop per chip. It's not generating a lot of money yet. So it's generated money for NVIDIA because they're selling the chips. But that's where we sit with there. Shop, thank you, up 17%. Well, is it, who know? Oh, no, in sync? Come on. Who? See, I don't know. I've heard of NSYNC too. Could not tell you. I don't know any of these. I really don't. I really don't. It's not, and I'm not insulting if you like that music. That's fantastic. I just don't listen to it. I think a lot of people know what I listen to. Maybe today's a good day for Whiter Shade of Pale. That's a great song. Whiter Shade of Pale. Now we're talking. I listen to them in an urgently calm state, yes. And I'm going to analyze the markets now in an urgently calm state. We still have the gap left behind, which is still a magnet price. You see we have not filled it yet, and there's major resistance about 53.45. That is a very key level. We do have daily cycles starting to turn up. We do have weekly cycles still heading lower. Look at the tail on this sucker. Look at the tail on this sucker. But overall, still on any buy signals, they got to follow through on a daily close above 54.95. Just go 54.96 on a closing basis. So it's got to get through all this breakdown resistance too. And remember, between 54.20 and 54.96 roughly is the key rollover zone. It's also the hooking over 50, which is now resistance. You have the breakdown zone, which is now resistance. You have the 50% retracement, which is now resistance. Key thing for me is if we get above this 53.45, I think it's a quick target to this gap fill. And then you do the gap fill, the magnet price of 54.20 would not shock me to the upside. Then, remember, I might be in even short term because of the rotation zone bearish mode. All right. But that does not mean there can't be buy plays. This is where a lot of people think, you only taking one side of the market. No, I have to then say my targets, which I just listed out a couple key targets. Again, Friday's close, 53.76, and then 54.20 are my first two upside targets. My upside target is not 56.50. Why? Because it's got to chew through a ton of stuff. So my probabilities of it hitting a target way up here, at least until the probability shift with a close above 54.96, does not make sense. Because right now, even on the bounce into the major rollover zone, it would be insane for me, with the probability still favoring a rollover, to choose targets above where it could potentially roll over. But choosing targets in front of them makes perfect sense. And again, a buy could fail. something shocking in the world could happen and we could head back down. But that's the way I'll structure. And then if we make some rollover patterns, I can be a little more aggressive with the targets there. Unless now we close back above the weekly rotation zone, that would put the weekly still in neutral mode. So longer term would still be in neutral mode. Let's just take a look at that shorter term. I was going too much on the, well, not too much. Again, just stair stepping higher. There's been some selling pressure up here, but really watch. If it coils up here and then pops through there, that's where you get that area that it could pop into. Support, here's your support level. Here's my support level, not yours. There's my support level I'll be focusing on. About 52.90. On any pullback, 52.90 is very key for me. If it were to break below there, 52.40 is my next one. What else do we got? Miss America Pies Coco's theme song. That's a good classic. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Took my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Come on, that's a great classic. That's a great classic. I'm troubled by the number of you who have opinions on who sang bye bye. Maybe that's a good thing for this channel. If everybody was just rattling it off, I think I might be more worried. I think I might be more worried. Now, if I were to say, like, who sang, I don't know, like, Back in Black, and if you didn't get that one right, then I'd be worried about the channel. Okay? Because if you can't get something like that right, then we got problems. We got big problems. So, we still have on the NASDAQ, come on, we still have, again, key resistance coiling up, trading up here, but the final target for the double, 18,630, and you still have the gap left behind from Friday, 18,513. So key target area is still 18,513 to 18,630 to the upside. Above there, really minor for me would be, at least for a stop raise from a trailing stop level, would be around that 18,700 area. And then the next key target for me is the breakdown zone right around this 18,950 and then 19,167. Remember, targets for me are areas to either take some profits or raise a stop from any long positions. And that would take us clearly into the rotation zone. Not even close to the 62.5 retracement, which in order for me to get bullish to, okay, we could retest the high areas of this sell-off, is 19,621. Key support, very key support. Very, very, very key support is right around this 18,050 level. The Dow is, here's the major level I am watching. It's right around Friday's close. You have the hooking over rotation zone, the hooking over 50, and Friday's close. That's my magnet price. That's when, by the way, I shifted this from the aggressive to the conservative targets just to see where those were, and it did complete the conservative target. So I'm just going to pull that off for now, because from a trailing perspective, it would be, you know, with yesterday's price action, it would be done anyways from my perspective. So just keeping an eye on that, but the magnet price higher is this gap fill. Now, if we cannot fill any of these gaps, something shocking happens, that would mean the underlying weakness is very strong if we don't hit any of these gap fills. Russell, almost to the gap fill. 2118 and a half. 2118 and a half. The key level, by the way, on the Russell, the key level is all the way back at 2197. So just remember 2200, because that's also the breakdown zone, is right around 2202. So the Russell can it snap back? But it's got some major heavy lifting to do to get into anything bullish mode again. You're only here for the Pat Trading Partners karaoke? Well, you tuned into the right place. Let's get some more likes. You know what? If anybody did tune into this and now they're wondering, why are you talking about all this weird stuff? Now, Sterling, were you able to take advantage of anything with the VIX collapse with selling vol? Just wondering out there, because this is the exact same thing. We were not even able to sustain on Monday, and now we're collapsing back down. Now, is this complacency? You're going to find some major support back at 20. But as long as this doesn't spike back up above 30 at this point, I'm still in watching for the grinding higher. DAX also. DAX trying to get up back to the major breakdown zone 17,930 area with the declining rotation zone. So that's my short-term bounce target there. Major support is back at 17.4. The notes pulling back to the key support level with the rising rotation zone. So, and daily cycles pulling over. Really, even a pullback to 112.03 area doesn't really do anything. I'm paying more attention to the yield. The yield key area for me is 4. Very key area for me is 4. Watching the 4. Now, we did close below the 62.5. Well below it. We've hit the 75, but I'm still going to be watching for rollover plays in the yield, which might not happen yet until we get the next leg down. Okay, and that could easily start happening next week. Remember, weekly cycles are still down for a little bit longer. We're getting daily cycles at the bottom bouncing up, so we could continue to see a bounce, you know, going into the PPI and CPI numbers next week. 10-2s, look at this. 10-2s, pulling back, rotation zone, pulling back prior resistance becoming support, and now back above 0. I'm really interested to see how it closes. Closing, because what was the high close? I don't believe we've closed above. We have not closed above 0 on the 10-2s. We've not closed above 0. Pay close attention to this today, where this could be the day we do close above it. Dollar index, still watching good for the next rollover play in this. All right. The only thing that would invalidate the rollover plays would be back above 104.50 area. Long way off. So going to be watching for the rollover plays in the dollar index still. Crude, so what I was talking about before. The double, this is the double against here. We're going to be watching these EIA numbers closely. We have the double triggered on the 1 hour, but no follow through yet on the 4 hour. No follow through yet on the 4 hour, and I want this to follow through on the 4 hour. So on any break above, it needs to follow through from my perspective on the 4 hour. But we could get that with the EIA numbers. Nothing going on with gold yet. Nothing going on with that stuff. The yenster. Look at this. Look at this. We're not gonna. Here's the. What was the saying? Now I forgot the saying. What was the saying? Urgently calm. There we go. Urgently calm. Urgently calm could take us back to 151.80 area if the markets can actually be urgently calm on a bounce, and then I'll really start watching for another rollover play in the yen. Euro, there's not much to talk about just yet. Bitcoin trying to regain some of the breakdown zone, but again, I'm not going to really sit up and take notice unless Bitcoin can get above 61,400 again. Ethereum, remember we've only hit the first target on the double, so still watching for rollover plays in that. The spiders, let's go through the levels, the upside in the spiders. The spiders now. The key areas, well, you still have the gap left behind from Friday, we're open right now, is 532.90. The next target above that is 537.71, which is right by a secondary breakdown zone. And the only thing that gets overall, besides bounce plays, the only thing that puts it probability-wise in a more bullish mode is a close above 544.58. So those are the key levels, the upside in there, and the Qs, the key levels. The where are we sitting right now? Where do we open on the Qs? 446.68 area. So you still have a gap back to 448.75. Then the first next level I'd use, even though it's by a breakdown zone, is 458.29. The only thing that gets me in bullish mode longer term, other than a bounce for the Qs, is a close above 473.49. Nvidia, remember we completed the double. Now we're bouncing, but Nvidia, only thing that gets me longer term bullish on this is a close back above 121.98. It's still a bounce, and major resistance is up at 114. Tesla, not much to talk about with that. So, what else? Hello, Charles. Very strong tip. Oh, let's take a look at the tick. The tick. Yeah, that was a strong tick over. So I'm going to be watching for any pullbacks for key support and then the rotation back up in the tick. And remember, I'm watching this area to be chipped away. This is the chip away zone. See how it's chipping away at here. Basing. And then I'm watching for the breakout higher. So as long as we don't get any collapse with the pullback in the tick, I'll be watching with, especially with a very quiet news day. The crude numbers are not going to affect the market, so there's nothing coming out unless some headline drops. So going to be watching. This is basing. If you just even look at pure analysis here. Pure analysis. So here was resistance coming back down. Coming up, breaking above that resistance, but then retesting it here, confirming that this is support, and also confirming that this is now support. Look at this little base being formed. So as long as on a tick pullback, we don't start dropping below this base and then follow through with a close down below this 52.90 level, I'm all in for, again, can't give trading advice, but that's what I'm watching for when I see a pattern like this, especially with a quick magnet price overhead. Again, no guarantees. I want people to study this, and you already are watching the tick. So if we don't violate the key support levels and keep basing up here, then you do have those magnet prices above. Is there a triggered inverse? This you could use as the inverse right here. The cleaner pattern was in the NASDAQ, but if you're looking, you could use this with a flat neckline right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. And if you're trading that, that would put your targets That would put your targets, if you're using that as a head and shoulders, at 53.60, which you look at that. That's roughly the gap fill. So it's the same target there. And then 53.95. So you could use that, although if you start going through this 53.95, my overall magnet target would still be this 54.20. Okay, so you could use this as a target area, but yes, you can use that that's a well-formed inverse head and shoulders. And these pullbacks did nothing to invalidate it. Good question, Sterling. Very good question. NASDAQ still, I mean, this is, you still got the magnet price on there from the double and the gap above here. The gap's still not technically filled. What else? What else? All right. That's where we'll leave it for today. Again, I will be on Tradier this afternoon and Ninja Trader tomorrow. Hope everyone has a wonderful trading day, and I will talk to you all later. Bye for now.